For 12 years she was invisible. She came and went before anyone noticed her presence, except for the shining floors and the scent of lemon cleaner that quietly announced her work. No one asked her name. No one knew her story. Until one morning. The office was quiet, but something was different. On the front desk, next to a folded uniform, sat a handwritten note, and when someone read it, no one could hold back the tears. This is the story of a woman who lived in the shadows until the day she vanished and left behind the truth. Lucia Rodriguez was the kind of person who went unnoticed, not because she lacked value, but because the world often forgets to look at those who clean behind the scenes. She arrived in the United States at the age of 29, fleeing the poverty and violence that haunted her small town in Guatemala. She carried one change of clothes, a crumpled photo of her children, and a quiet hope that hard work in a distant land could one day change her family's future. Her first and only job was as a night cleaner in a downtown office building. She worked the graveyard shift, starting when the last employees left for the day. She entered through the service door, pushed her cart through the silent hallways, wiped down desks with delicate hands, emptied trash cans like she was defusing a bomb, always careful, always quiet. For 12 years, she was there. But nobody ever really saw her. No one knew her name. No one knew she had 2 children back in Guatemala. No one asked her where she came from, how she was doing, or what her dreams were. She was just the cleaning lady. Every night she watched the life of the office unfold through the traces people left behind. Family photos on desks, half-eaten birthday cake in the break room, crushed coffee cups after long meetings, tears on a tissue tossed into the trash. Lucia saw it all, but no one ever saw her. She never complained. Even when her feet ached so badly she couldn't stand straight. Even when she cleaned through fevers and migraines. Even when she was scolded by a supervisor for missing a tiny smudge on a window, she never raised her voice. She never called in sick. She never broke down. At least not where anyone could see. What she earned barely paid rent for the small room she shared with 2 other immigrant women. She took 2 buses to get to work. She ate simple meals. She wore the same shoes for years. Yet every month, she sent money back home. Her mother raised her children while Lucia lived like a ghost, in a city that didn't care. Sometimes she cried quietly in the janitor's closet. No one noticed. She knew the risk. She had no legal papers. Every day she feared that one wrong step, one random checkpoint, one slip-up would send her back. But she kept going, because mothers don't give up. Then, it happened. One night after her shift ended, Lucia walked to the train station as she always did. She held her coat tight, clutching her bag with tired fingers. But this time something was wrong. Officers, flashlights, questions in English too fast for her to understand. Immigration enforcement. She froze. Her voice caught in her throat. The room spun, and just like that, she was gone. The next morning, the office was different. Desks still had dust on them. Trash cans were overflowing. The bathrooms hadn't been touched. That's when the receptionist noticed something taped to her monitor. An envelope, plain white, with shaky handwriting that read, "To everyone." Inside was a letter, a goodbye, a confession, a truth too powerful to be ignored. The letter was short, barely a page, but no one who read it would ever be the same. It began, simply in block letters carefully formed with a blue pen, the kind someone would find in a supply closet or desk drawer. It read, "To the people I cleaned for." No one knew what to expect. Some thought it might be a resignation note, or even a complaint. But as the words unfolded, the office grew quiet. Phones stopped ringing, fingers froze over keyboards. One by one they gathered around the front desk, reading the letter aloud, trying to make sense of what they had never taken the time to see. "My name is Lucia Rodriguez. I have been the one cleaning your offices for the last 12 years. You may not have noticed me. That's okay. I came here to work, not to be seen." Right away, hearts tightened. Some people felt a pang of guilt. Others felt ashamed. Most simply felt stunned. But I saw you. I saw your families in the photos on your desks. I saw when you stayed late. I saw when you cried. I saw your birthdays, the balloons, the leftover cake. I saw when you fought with each other. I saw when you were kind. I saw when you were tired. And every night I tried to leave everything just a little better for you than I found it. At this point, one of the younger employees, a woman named Erica, had to walk away. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "I used to joke that the trash magically took itself out." Another man, Daniel, who prided himself on being the kind of boss who treated everyone equally, was now staring at the letter as if it were written in flames. He realized he had passed Lucia in the hallway countless times, had nodded perhaps, maybe even said thanks once or twice, but he had never asked her name, never looked her in the eyes. The letter continued. "I have 2 children. I haven't seen them in person in 12 years. I sent them money every month. I missed their birthdays, their school plays, their broken hearts. I missed it all. Last night I was taken by immigration. On my way home, I am being deported." At that line, the room fell into a stunned silence. Someone gasped. Another person muttered no. It was real. Lucia was gone. "I don't write this letter to make you feel bad. I just wanted someone to know I was here, that I existed, that I cared. I cleaned this office like it was my home because it helped me imagine what a home might feel like again. Please take care of it now, and take care of each other. Lucia." By the end of the letter, there wasn't a dry eye in the building. The woman they had never noticed had left behind something no one could ignore. In one page, she had done what no staff meeting, HR seminar, or memo ever could. She had reached them. The letter was photocopied and passed around. Someone pinned it to the break room bulletin board. Another person took a photo and uploaded it to the company intranet with the title, "The Woman Who Was Always Here." By lunchtime, it had already started spreading outside the company. Erica posted it on her personal social media with a caption that read, "We never knew her, but she cleaned our messes for 12 years. Her name was Lucia. Read her letter, please." The post exploded. By the end of the day, it had 500,000 views. By the end of the week, national news outlets had picked it up. Headlines called it the silent goodbye that shook an office to its core. She cleaned for 12 years. No one noticed until this letter. People across the country began sharing their own stories about the janitors, nannies, dishwashers, gardeners, and housekeepers who came and went like shadows, rarely seen, but always working. Meanwhile, back at the office, a strange transformation began to take place. People became more careful with their space, more polite with the support staff, more aware of who was around them. The cleaning company sent a temporary replacement, but no one could bring themselves to look her in the eye for days. Not because she had done anything wrong, but because everyone now carried a quiet sense of shame. Lucia's letter had shattered something, the illusion that kindness only belonged to those we saw. But more than shame, something else had taken root. A question. How many Lucias had passed through their lives unnoticed? And more importantly, was it too late to do something about it? A door had opened, a crack of light in a long, dark hallway of indifference. The story was no longer just about Lucia. It was about all the people like her, and the people who were finally, painfully, learning how to see. In the days that followed, the letter, life inside the office didn't quite return to normal. The absence of Lucia wasn't just physical. It was spiritual. Her memory clung to the walls, to the soft echo of quiet nights when she used to glide unseen between desks, restoring order to chaos. No one could walk past the front desk without glancing at the copy of her letter, now framed in glass. Some began placing fresh flowers beside it each morning. Others left notes of their own, small thank yous, words they wished they had said, apologies written too late. What had started as an act of personal closure had transformed into a national outcry. Lucia's story caught the attention of journalists, immigration activists, and even a few politicians. Her words, "I just wanted someone to know I was here," became a headline, a movement, a mirror for a country that had looked away from people like her for too long. But behind the headlines and hashtags, a deeper current was forming. Erica, the young employee who had first shared Lucia's letter online, found herself unable to stop thinking about her. It wasn't just guilt. It was something more. She felt a connection, a need to do something. With the help of a small team from the office, she began digging. They found the cleaning company's old records, traced her employee ID, and reached out to immigrant support groups in the region. After weeks of unanswered emails and missed calls, they finally received a short message from a volunteer in Guatemala. "Lucia is safe. She's home with her children." The message came with a photo. It showed Lucia standing in front of a modest brick house holding the hands of two teenagers, her daughter and son. She was smiling, but the weight of everything she had endured still sat gently behind her eyes. Erica printed the photo and brought it into the office. People gathered again. This time not for shock, but for something else. Hope. With the company's support, a few employees decided to start a fund in Lucia's name. Not a charity. Something more permanent. A scholarship program for the children of immigrant workers. They called it the Rodriguez Fund, in honor of the woman who had taught them all a lesson without ever raising her voice. The story could have ended there, but it didn't. A few months later, an envelope arrived from Guatemala. Inside was a handwritten letter, Lucia's handwriting unmistakable. It read, "To everyone who remembered me, thank you. I never expected my words to go beyond that office. I only wrote the letter because I didn't want to disappear like I had never existed. When I arrived home, I was ashamed. I felt like I had failed. But then, people told me I was on the news, that my letter was everywhere. I didn't believe it at first. Then I saw your faces in a video reading my words. I saw the flowers. The notes. I cried all night. My children now know who I was in America. Not just a cleaner, but someone who made a difference. You gave me back my voice. If any of you ever come to Guatemala, my door is open. My home is small, but the coffee is strong, and my heart is full. With love, Lucia Rodriguez, the lame." Letter was read aloud in a company-wide meeting. This time, the applause came with standing ovations, with tears, with hands over hearts. Something had shifted, not just in the building, but in each individual. Lucia's story had become part of their story. They now paused to learn the names of the people who cleaned the floors, delivered the packages, served the coffee. They now asked, "How are you?" and meant it. Lucia's voice, once lost in silence, had awakened a symphony of awareness, and in Guatemala, she too was rebuilding. With the donations from the fund, she started a small home cleaning business with her daughter. They hired women from their village, many of them mothers like Lucia had once been. The walls of their little office held a framed copy of the same letter that now hung in the U.S. office where her story had begun. It had come full circle, from invisibility to remembrance, from silence to voice, from exile to home. Lucia cleaned for 12 years in silence, but with a single note she left behind something louder than words. A legacy.